I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. More than a decade after a scandal that rocked the country's low-cost housing program, Delfin Lee claims vindication. Last month, a court in Pampanga junked the criminal case filed against him and four others over an alleged ghost borrower scheme to obtain 6.6 billion pesos in housing loans from Pag-IBIG. With the legal battle now over, what's next for the Globe Asiatique founder? Let's get on point with real estate developer Delfin Lee. Mr. Lee, good to have you on the show.
Hi,
Welcome.
good evening, Pinky.
Okay, balikan po natin yung background nitong storyang to because it was scandalous. It was huge back in around 2010, 2011, di ho ba?
Mid-2010, and then all the way up to 2012, I was put in jail in 2014.
That's right. So, balikan po natin. I think it was in 2011 when the DOJ filed as syndicated estafa laban po sa inyo and for others. The story here was that supposed to be there were witnesses that claimed that, well, basically it's ghost borrowers, hindi ho ba, of amounting to about 6.6 billion pesos na nakuha from Pag-IBIG. Tama ho yung ano, no?
Medyo tama on one part,
Go
mali
ahead, sir.
on the other part. The total houses that I built in Severa, these are two Severas in Pampanga, we're talking of two projects.
Mabalacat.
Mabalacat and Bacolor, there's a total of 10,000 units. And out of the 10,000 units, we ourselves suspect there were about 1,000 units na we thought medyo suspicious. We in fact wrote a letter to Pag-IBIG informing them that we are a little doubtful on these 1,000 accounts. So we asked them to investigate. And based on our contract with Pag-IBIG, which has been ongoing even before 2010, we have a contract to buy back. So kami rin tatamaan pag mayroong problema ang account. And our guarantee buyback is up to 5 years. Whenever the buyer defaults within the first 5 years, we have to buy back that account. And our buyback guarantee is not laway lang. There are cash. We have more than 600 million deposited with Pag-IBIG under escrow.
Already there.
To back up that guarantee.
Okay.
So, and I hope you would see the whole project if it can be shown. You would see the whole project. There is a whole community. We donated a school, we donated a church, we donated even the city hall.
May city hall doon, di ba, sa Mabalacat?
I don't understand. Kung ang balak ko is to sell to ghost buyer, common sense will tell you, bakit ka pa pinaganda? Ba't pa ako nag-donate ng eskwela? Sino mag-aaral doon? Multo?
Bakit humabot dito? Because if looking back, there were people who actually appeared on television and said that hindi ko alam bakit nandyan ang aking pangalan. Hindi ko alam bakit sinasabing ako ang nag-loan nang hindi naman po ako nag-loan.
I am not discounting the fact na maaring yung may mga ahente kami. Kami mismo nag-file ng kaso sa isang ahente. Maaring ang habol niya makakomisyon. So this is isolated cases. Maybe we found in our own audit about 150 accounts out of 10,000 houses.
Wait, sorry, 150 accounts. Earlier you said that among the 10,000 units of Severa in Mabalacat and the other area.
Yeah, in Bacolor.
Bacolor, rather, yes, thank you. Sabi niyo po, you found 1,000 units that were a little suspicious. That were suspicious.
Pero
Okay,
hindi naman lahat to.
Okay.
Okay?
Doon sa 1,000 units, what did you discover?
We found about 200 plus accounts na nag-default. And immediately, we have to buy back the account. And we were, in fact, mandated by Pag-IBIG to buy back the account. So, normal practice namin yan. Because you cannot expect all 10,000 units to be paying on time. And we are the guarantor. Every time there's a demand for buyback, we just buy back. A normal business practice namin with Pag-IBIG.
Is that a normal business practice of developers, or is
Yes.
that a normal business practice of yours?
All developers.
Okay.
Under Window 1, when you have a buyback guarantee, every time Pag-IBIG says, hey, this account is medyo nadidelay to, buyback mo to. No question us, we buy back.
So you were saying that you found some agents that may have been responsible for this. What were they doing? They were enticing people,
Because
ganun ho
as
ba?
part of our marketing, we have to give some advance commission every time they present a prospective buyer. Because remember, agents don't get salaries. They're paid by commissions. For them to be able to move, to work. So we have to give them a small amount of 5,000.
Okay.
Every time meron silang pinresenta. And then once it is taken out, then we pay the full amount. Eh, yun na nga, merong isang enterprising na ahente.
And you'd think it was just one. Was it just one?
We suspect only one.
And it blew up this way?
Yes, alam mo, actually, hindi naman talaga yun lang ang dahilan eh. There's something more behind that.
All right.
I would rather not discuss it because it's more of politics.
And ayaw niyo pong balikan na yon. All right.
May galit sa akin.
Opo. Okay. So, ang nangyari po dito, also when I was looking back doon po sa issue, ang sabi po ng NBI, there were about 400 people who said they never applied for a housing loan despite their names appearing in the records. About 1,000 borrowers could not even be located and around 200 had incomplete documents. Let's siguro, wag na po natin pag-usapan yung incomplete documents. Pero yung 400 people said they never applied at yung 1,000 borrowers could not even be located. Did you guys check on this?
Actually, I don't think that's true because during the hearings, NBI agent representatives was called in the witness stand. Ito yung witness ng Pag-IBIG. Wala siyang masabing ganun. Wala siyang nasabing ganun. So, we didn't even have to defend ourselves because based on what their witnesses was saying in court, walang point, walang evidence.
Walang kaso.
Wala.
That's why kayo po, ang inyong kampo, filed a demurrer to evidence.
Yes.
Balikan po natin
After
yan.
the DOJ presented the case and terminated their offer of evidence, we filed a demurrer on the condition that based on the evidence presented, I don't think we even need to answer. Ayun naman ang pinag-aralan ng judge. It took him 100 pages to write the decision. Point by point, on point. And I read the decision, talagang malinaw eh. Wala talagang makitang ebidensya.
So, going back, for those who might want to still understand this, you were charged in 2011 by the DOJ. You were arrested in 2014, di ho ba? Prior to your arrest, what happened there? Why did it take that long? You were telling me something that you had filed some
Well, when
petitions
I
or
was
motions.
charged, I have to admit I went into hiding while I was appealing the case. Medyo mabigat yung kalaban ko eh. So, when the decision of the Court of Appeals came down, not only for me, but four of us, we filed separate cases. The case was dismissed. The warrant was quashed. So,
What was your petition before the Court of Appeals?
certiorari. So, I thought I was already a free man. So, lumabas na ako, nakipag-meeting ako eh. Bigla akong hinuli. So, when I was put in jail, I filed for a writ of habeas corpus with the Court of Appeals. And
Again.
in 48 hours, there was a hearing. During the hearing, halos nga murahin ng mga justices yung mga pulis na humuli sa akin eh. Malinaw ang order namin eh. In fact, I had a letter from the chief PNP at that time, si Alan Purisima, stating that they received the order and they fully respect that the case has been dismissed and the warrant has been quashed. So,
But
sinasabi
that's what I
nila-
don't seem to understand. If the case was dismissed and the warrant was quashed, why were you thrown in jail?
That's still a question I need answer. Ako mismo, hindi ko rin naintindihan.
Okay. So it seems like you didn't have a choice. You had to spend, what, 4 years in jail?
Well, if I may continue, after the hearing had their lunch break, so I was expecting to be released by the Court of Appeals. Suddenly, may bumabang TRO
I see.
from the Supreme Court, stopping the hearing. So I was brought back to Pampanga Provincial Jail. Ayun, 4.5 years ako sa bahay ni Kuya.
Doon po 2014 to about
2018.
2018. And the reason you were able to post bail after 4.5 years was
Well,
because...
the Supreme Court took cognizance of all the cases, pinagsama-sama, and then they reviewed it, and then they came down with a decision na there was no syndicated estafa. If at all, there might be probable cause for simple estafa. And I was granted the right to post bail. So we all posted bail. So after that, I was out on 2018 until the case started when we were attending trial from 2018 to this year. It took 15 judges. Would you believe?
15?
15.
Why? It was ruffled from one judge to another?
Every time that the case was ruffled to one judge, the judge would inhibit. Sometimes the DOJ would file for an inhibition with the judge, so the judge would inhibit. It took 15 judges. The judge who decided on this case is the 16th.
Do you
A
feel,
simple estafa case, 16.
do you feel that is an injustice
Of
to you?
course it is. 15 judges. Daig ko pa terorista nito.
All right, so I didn't know about that lumipat po yung inyong kaso from 16 actually judges
It is the
until the
16th judge
16th one
Who
actually
decided?
rendered a decision on this.
And it was a
third
surprise
week.
for me because I didn't expect him to decide on the case.
What did you
Nasanay na kami.
expect? Akala nyo
Mag-inhibit
inhibit
din.
din. So you thought this was just going to keep dragging and
Yes,
dragging and
yes,
dragging on.
yes, yes.
How did you feel? When was this? February
When
25?
I was informed,
when the decision was rendered?
28 was the decision date. I think 25 yata. So when we received the copy, ang haba eh. Sabi ko sa lawyer ko, basahin mo na lang sa akin. Sabi niya, boss, dismiss. Hindi ako naniwala. Dismiss. So I read the decision, 100 pages. Point by point, in-explain ng judge, bakit walang kaso, bakit walang ebidensya. Finally, kako. But there's still a chance they might file a motion for reconsideration.
That's what I wanted to discuss. Were you acquitted or was
Acquitted yun.
case dismissed?
It was tantamount to acquittal.
Because if you were acquitted, what about the rule on double jeopardy?
That's
How can
precisely what my lawyer was saying. There should not be any more appeal or motion for reconsideration because that's tantamount to acquittal. I don't know. They're the lawyer.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That might be a possibility, I guess. That's what they're saying. Although we do
Yeah.
understand, of course, the rule on double jeopardy.
It's
Mr. Lee,
the same issue with Ping Lacson.
yeah.
Ganon
And,
din nangyari.
and I think also with Congresswoman Laila De Lima, nagdemur to evidence din ho ba ata siya. And she was also acquitted, and then they appealed. The prosecutors appealed this
What
case
happened?
against the judge stayed on with the earlier decision. All right, we'll just take a very short break. We'll continue our discussion with Globe Asiatique founder Delfin Lee when we return. Stay tuned. This is On Point. Welcome back. Still with us, Globe Asiatique founder Delfin Lee. Sir, after what you've been through, now that you're acquitted, or I don't know if they're going to describe it acquitted or dismissed, but your lawyers were saying acquitted, what do you plan to do? Are you planning to file any counter charges?
I don't want to go through this again. Medyo after 4 years inside the house of Kuya, nag-mellow down na na. I have to move on. I'm not getting younger. So the hatred, the anger, nawala na eh. Ayoko na ng kaaway. So I just want to finish what I left behind. There are still a lot of projects that were incomplete when I was suddenly incarcerated. And then I would like to help solve this housing backlog.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to talk about that because, this has happened to you, and you were acquitted, or the charges against you were dismissed. Just on a personal level, I just wanted to get to that. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah.
What was the biggest learning lesson for you here?
Keep my mouth shut. That's it. You have to temper your emotion sometimes, and then just accept what comes in.
How has
You
that?
just have to.
But how has that affected even your family?
Oh yes, definitely. It involves everything. They destroyed my name. They destroyed my business, my reputation, and I'm very thankful that this case came to an end while I'm still alive, because I don't want to leave this problem to my children. The reputation I have to build, I don't want this to be carried by my children. And that's the only saving grace.
Let's talk about the business, Mr.
Yeah.
Lee. So, marami ho ba kayong naiwan na business na nakatenga?
Marami,
Can you give us
kasi
an update?
biglaan nangyari. So marami akong mga projects na nahinto, maraming mga bahay na hindi natapos, and I still have some assets that I want to develop. But let's face it, without Pag-IBIG, you cannot do any low-cost housing. Because this is one market that only Pag-IBIG is willing to finance. The borrower, they should not even be financing the developer. The borrower. And let me be clear, by the way, Pinky. A lot of people were thinking na umutang ako ng 6 billion from Pag-IBIG. I never borrowed from Pag-IBIG. Everything that I built, all the projects that we started and finished, this all came from our own funds, my own pocket. I didn't borrow from Pag-IBIG. It is the buyer who bought our houses, who borrowed from Pag-IBIG. And these buyers are guaranteed by me. Buyers na mga Pag-IBIG member. Para bang sinabi mo na yung tatay mo, uutang ka sa tatay mo, pero ako guarantor. Para bumili ng bahay ko.
I understand. And because of this, now that you are, well, acquitted, what do you plan to do? Are you planning to finish some of the
Of course, because
ventures
if
were
I don't
left?
finish these projects that were left half finished, walang value eh. I need to finish these projects so that it can gain the value that is supposed to be there. And if I'm given a chance, I would like to continue because, let's face it, there's a big shortage for the socialized housing market.
Now, I was actually looking at, siguro also to be clear to the viewers, there is a housing backlog. We all know that here in the country. It amounts to, the numbers vary. There's 6 million, 10 to 10 million,
and it's
etc.
growing. It's growing. But then you have to clarify, this is the market of the socialized. Socialized meaning people, let's say minimum wage earner, can afford to pay. Ito yung nasa bracket ngayon, tumaas na nga eh. Nasa 950,000 house and lot. Condo, 1.5 million. But these are subsidized by the government, by Pag-IBIG Fund. So ito yung market na talagang malaki ang shortage. Yung mga high-end, mga high condominium, high value
Only a very
condominium.
small percentage of the population
Very
can
small
actually really afford
percentage, and
that.
there's an oversupply.
So are you planning to venture back into maybe partnering? Would that be a partnership, for example, with Pag-IBIG? Is that even a possibility
If
you're
they
looking
would
at?
accept me back, why not? Because I can't do this alone. Without Pag-IBIG there, it's not possible.
But I read something that you were asking for some release of money from Pag-IBIG on
yes.
escrow. Is that correct?
You have to understand that there are two cases. The first case is the civil case that we filed against Pag-IBIG. When they canceled our contract, we demanded the return of our escrow fund, which amounts to 630 million at that time. Since kinancel mo na yung contract, balik mo na sa akin yung guarantee fund ko, yung escrow fund ko sa kanila. And then there's this case of criminal case which they filed against me. Since the criminal case has been dismissed, there's no reason for them to hold on to my escrow fund, right?
Are your lawyers looking into this right now for that
In fact,
return?
the case was already, we won the case from the RTC Makati. They raised it up with the CA. We won on CA. They raised it all the way to the Supreme Court. It was affirmed by the Supreme Court, and it was brought back to RTC Makati to hear, to try the damages that they're supposed to pay me. I waived the damages. No need for the damages for breach of contract. So, sabi ko, balikan na lang yung pera ko.
Nabalik na ho ba itong
Hindi,
630?
nag-appeal na naman sila.
I see.
Umikot lang kami.
Is there a way, sir? I mean, are there avenues you're looking into to be able to continue what you're doing and, as you said, ibalik yung perang inyong ipinasok?
Maybe ito, meron na lang, may some ego, some pride is being step on. So, palagay ko pride na lang to eh. I want to put the case behind me. I want to move forward. But it all depends on the other party. Baka ayaw tanggapin yung pagkatalo.
That might be hard, huh?
That might be. Without pag-ibig, it's not possible for us.
Yeah. What about your reputation? Some may have remembered 2011 and the supposed scandal, and to who you are now being acquitted or dismissed, your case rather being dismissed. How do you intend to be able to maybe gain the trust of those who might have believed you wronged them?
I don't think I've wronged anybody. I can face anybody. Wala akong naging biktima. Wala akong niloko. All the houses I built are there. The buyers who bought from me, they're the one who are staying there at sila yung di nagbabayad. Ako pa nga kinasuhan nila.
How do you see yourself, sir, in the next 1 or 2 years after this
I'm going to
decision?
take it slow. I'm not getting younger, so I just want to enjoy whatever's left. And then, if we can move on, I would like to have a nice relationship again with Pag-IBIG. Tama na yung away. Pero balik yung pera ko.
I was actually gonna ask you, papayag po ba kayo hindi ibalik yung 630
Ay, di
million?
pwede. Malinaw na utang mo yan eh. Hindi bali sana kung sabihin mong kung saan-saan lang galing yung claim ko. No, it's cash deposited to them.
That you put on escrow.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Delfin Lee, sir, good to have you. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Nice to be here, and thank you also, Pinky, for having me.
You're welcome. That's On Point. Join us again tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel. I'm Pinky Webb. Thank you for watching.